Today we're going to start with do and those. We have to use a simple present. Simple present is used to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. Here we have to check the structure. We have to use subject plus an auxiliary and verb in present. The subjects I, you, we, they, he, she, it. The auxiliary now for this occasion I do not or I don't. The verb in present like want, eat, need, live, or chat. But here it's the subject he, she, it. They're going to use does not or doesn't. For example, I do not like. I don't like. We do not eat. We don't eat. He doesn't live. He does not live. It does not chat. It doesn't chat. Don't forget I, you, we, they don't. He, she, it doesn't. And the verb in simple present. Now let's check the grammar sentences. Here in that structure we are able to see all the Now let's check this structure. I is the subject. Verb to be am. Negative form not. Complement happy. I am not happy. Now we have to use in a negative form using a verb. I subject do not or don't. The verb in simple present want. I don't want to go to the party. Here the person don't accept to go. I don't like the other kids. I don't eat cake, especially birthday cake. Here the subject I, auxiliary do not or don't, verb like, complement the other kids. I don't eat cake. Subject don't, verb eat. I don't think I should go to the party. So here I is my subject. Don't, auxiliary in a negative form, verb think. Don't forget this structure. It's important to use them in the correct form. Don't or doesn't. My sister isn't a nice person. Or my sister is not a nice person. Don't forget. Subject, my sister. Verb to be with a negative option. Isn't. Complement. She doesn't share her toys. She is a girl, is the subject. Doesn't. or does not. Verb, share. Complement, her toys. She doesn't like playing outside. She doesn't have friends. Here in that sentence, don't forget the subject is she. It's a girl. Doesn't, negative form. Verbs, like and have. Complement, playing outside and friends. Now, let's read this text. He doesn't live with us. Now, in the sentence, he talks about he. And doesn't, it's the negative option. Now, the verb live has to be in a regular form, a simple present. With us is the complement. Now, in this text, you will be able to understand some tips. Tips to reduce the psychological toll of divorce on children. Use consistent discipline. Don't put kids in the middle. Co-parent peacefully. Maintain a healthy relationship with your child. Child, that means only one. Help your child feel safe and secure. Monitor adolescents closely. Teach specific coping skills. Empower your child. Let's see this example. They don't eat meat. Vegan versus vegetarians. They are completely different. Depends. Vegan, they don't eat any meat and they consume seeds and vegetables. Vegetarians, they consume vegetables but they consume another products like eggs, milk, cheese. So there is completely different vegan and vegetarians. Now let's check this review. Put the verbs in brackets into negative form. Number 1. He, mineral water. Drink. Sarah and Linda, their pets. Feed. Your sister, your homework. Check. They, in the old house. Live. The cat on the wall. Sit. Don't forget, check in the negative form when it's he, she, it, I, we, you, or they. Now, let's check the answers. Number 1. He doesn't drink mineral water. He, in a negative form, they use doesn't. The verb has to be in a regular form. Sarah and Linda don't feed their pets. Here is plural. They don't. Verb feed. Your sister doesn't check your homework. Sister is about a girl. And they use a negative form. Doesn't. They don't live in the old house. Here, the verb live in a simple form. The cat, it doesn't sit on the wall. Check two answers, and don't forget how it is in a negative form. Now, we have to check the auxiliary, subject, and verb in present. Now, we have to do in interrogative form. The auxiliary do or does is going to be first. Then our subject I, you, we and they, he, she, it, and the verb in present. Don't forget the question mark at the end. Here, for example, do I play? Do you eat? Do we sleep? Do they win? Does he like? Does she want? Does he need? Don't forget, like the verbs in simple present can switch to any place. But here, the important thing is how we can use do. I, we, you, they have to use do. He, she, it, they have to use those. Now, in affirmative, yes, he, she, it, the verb in simple present, it has to switch depend of the condition of the verb, and there's rules. Don't forget the time expression. Does Felicia understand English? Now, it's a question. Does Felicia is a girl, so they use does. Understand is the verb. English. Their answer is yes. She, because Felicia is a girl, she understands. So now they are clear because understand ending with a and, so we have to add yes. And the complement, English very well. Let's see in affirmative. Yes, I, you, we, they. The verb has to be in simple present and time expression. Here, the rule is not important in this case. Do Janet and Joan study law? Do Jane and Joan study law? Yes, they study law in the morning. Because they use two people, plural. I, you, we, and they use the verb in simple present. Now, let's check the grammar sentences. Here, for example, do we study in SEDEC? And question mark. Don't forget here, it's we. That means more than two. And you are included in this sentence. Do we study is the verb. Complement in SEDEC. Yes, we do. No, we don't. Don't forget for the positive answer. So they have to do with we do, with the same do that we start a sentence. And in negative, it's not, comma, we is the plural, and they use do. And we have to do a double not. No, not. Does seawater freeze when the temperature drops to 0 degrees Celsius? Interesting. Does, it's about singular. Seawater. Does seawater, the verb, freeze when the temperature drops to 0 degrees Celsius? Question mark. Yes, seawater freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Don't forget in this question now it's positive, yes, and they use seawater as it. The verb freezes. Don't forget the rules about these verbs. Now let's see another question. Does the Red Sea separate Africa from Asia? Question mark. Yes, it does. The Red Sea separates Africa from Asia. In that sentence, when we talk about a thing or place, they use those. And the Red Sea, the verb separate, complement, and question mark. Don't forget here, If the answer is positive, yes, it belongs to the Red Sea, it does. And now the Red Sea separates the verb. Here we have to add s. In here in the picture that shows how the Red Sea has Africa from one side and Asia from another side. Finally, we have to use auxiliary, subject, verb in present, and question mark at the end. Here, when we try to create a sentence in interrogative form, we have to use do, I, and verb in simple present. Do I play? Do you eat? Do we sleep? Do they win? Those, now, it's only with he, she, it. In this occasion, he is for men, she for a girl, it, animal or thing, and here we can create and we can talk about one thing, he, she, it, and we can create a sentence. Does he like? Does she want? Does it need? Does she sleep? Does he eat? Do you want? Do you need? Do they play? So in that form, you are going to be able to use any verb in present. Now, in negative answers is no, I do not, and the verb in simple form plus the time expression, or no, I don't, verb in simple present and time expression. No, you don't. No, we don't. No, they don't. And we have to continue with the verb in simple form plus our time expression. Now, in the part in negative, but now with he, she, it, for man, girl, thing or animal. Does she, doesn't, the verb in simple form and time expression. No, she doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, he doesn't. The structure is so simple. Negative, he, she, it, doesn't or does not, and verb in simple form. Now, let's check the grammar sentences. Ready? Do birds sing because they are happy? Question mark at the end. Don't forget do, plural, verb, complement, question mark. No, they don't. They sing to communicate with other birds. Now, here, when we mention birds, it's plural, so there we are talking more than two. And here, the verb is in a singular form, sing, sing. So we have to be careful how we can create a sentence. Let's see another question. Does Sandy study English at night? No, she doesn't study English at night. So most of the schools, they have English in the morning and afternoons, Saturdays and Sundays. Those, we are talking about a girl. Sandy is she. Study, the verb in simple form. English at night, complement, question mark. The negative form is not, she, doesn't, is negative. The verb in a simple form, study, English at night. Do koalas live in Africa? No, they don't live in Africa. Koalas live in Eastern Australia. Here, koalas, plural, more than two. Here, we are talking about then more than two animals. And it's plural. No, they don't live in Africa. Don't, negative. Live, verb in simple form. Koalas, more than two, live in Eastern Australia. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Here, with this structure, now you can create more sentence. Do, you, plural, or one by one, face to face. Or when you are talking in a public, more than two people. Like, it's a verb. Ice cream, it's a product or complement. Question mark at the end. Yes, I do. Because we are talking about yourself. Yes, I do. No, I don't. No, subject, the verb do, and a negative answer. Now, let's see here. Do you like coffee? Do you like soda? Do you like milk? Do you like to play? Do you like to read? Do you like to do exercise? Everything that you ask for a person, they will be do. Do you eat fried chicken? Question mark at the end. Do, it's a personal question. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Here, we are talking about something that you eat or drink. Do you eat tamales? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Do you eat lasagna? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Here, now the sentence, do you eat or do you drink? We have two sentences together. So now, depends what are you asking for. Do you drink milk? Do you eat chicken? Do you eat rice? Now, here we have more options, but depending. One is eat, another one drink. Here, does your sister live in Mexico? Question mark at the end. Sister, she. Does, singular. So does your sister live in Mexico? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Or no, she does not. So depends on your option. Does your brother do exercise? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. So depends on the person. Because probably he is doing exercise. But maybe not at this time. Next. Does your father work on a computer? And question mark at the end. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. He, it's a man. Singular, your father. Verb, work. Complement. Let's see another example. Does your mother cook well? Yes, she does. Or, no, she doesn't. Don't forget not and not at the end. And here in positive, we only have to answer with yes, she, because it's about a girl, mother, she does. Don't forget, in interrogative, the auxiliary does is to start. And here, as an answer, is at the end. And here, in a negative, is first does and then not. The subject, mother or she, depends. And the verb, it's only in simple present. Now, let's check this review. Review number 2. Create questions using do or does. Question number 1. Peter lives close to the Tech University. Number 2. You learn psychology at the Tech. Number 3. Andrew and Martin ride their bikes to school. Number 4. They play in the garden. Number 5. Sandy's hamster lives in a cage. Don't forget, you have to use do or does. Do for plural, those for singular. Read carefully. In some sentence, you have to read carefully and try to answer do or does. Now, let's check your answers. Number 1. Peter. Peter lives close to this Tech University. So now, we have to use do or does. Here, in the first sentence, Peter is singular. That means those. Number 2. You, plural. So they use do. Number 3. Andrew and Martin, plural. So they have to use do. Number 4. They is plural. So we have to use do. Number 5. Sandy is singular. We have to use those. Now, let's check your answers. In here, this review, you have to create it, this sentence, in interrogative. Does Peter live close to the Tech University? Here, don't forget, the first sentence is in positive, but in interrogative, the verb has to be in simple present. The rule about the verbs, it's only in positive. Not in negative, not in interrogative. Only in positive. You learn psychology at the Tech. Do you learn psychology at the Tech? Andrew and Martin, plural, do. Do Andrew and Martin ride their bikes to school? Question mark. Don't forget the question mark at the end. They play in the garden. Do they play in the garden? Number 5. Those, singular. Those Sandy's hamster live in a cage? Check the answers and don't forget those for singular, do for plural. Now, the phrase of the day. See you later. Don't forget, keep studying, and you are learning English here in the Tech. See you later.